Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action of EU and DXY to see what day trading opportunities there may be. You're going to see my strategy and my technical analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, we're going to start here on the daily chart. On the top is EU and on the bottom is DXY. So what can the daily chart tell us? Well, we can see yesterday we closed out bullish on EU and with a bearish doji on DXY. Overall, I think we're still showing some signs of maybe deceleration at the top here. We don't have loads of momentum, though yesterday was the first sign of some bullish momentum. DXY looks similar. Price hasn't gone anywhere yet. It still looks like it has some sort of support here maybe. But otherwise, we still have our previous daily lows, previous daily highs. Those are yet to be taken today. So the buy side and sell side liquidity is still intact. Of course, on DXY, we still have price draws up here in more of a premium of the leg, which may attract price in the long term, right, for that imbalance to be filled. But otherwise, on the daily, there's not much of a story to tell. So let's go down to the 4 hour and see what the intraday is showing. So even on the 4 hour at the moment, I am a bit unclear because we did reject this 4 hour fair value gap. We can see we had this bullish run yesterday. Since rejecting that 4 hour fair value gap, I did believe, we was going to continue downwards into this order block here as a draw on price, as we had further draws on price even below that, and this was more of the discount from this corrective pullback. Now, of course, we don't have to be correct in that pulling back further. Price has reacted bullishly. We've come up here, you can see we've closed above internally. You'll see it clearly on the 1 hour. We've closed above these previous internal highs. So it may be showing a switch in direction after we've had this pullback. Now into today's price action, we can see on DXY, we have filled this 4 hour fair value gap this morning. You can see we're currently kind of rejecting that fair value gap slash order block, right? The last 4 hour candle closed out respecting it. We've swept into it. And now you can see we've had a bit of bullish price action since over the last, say, hour or so. On EU, we don't have this gap, of course, but it's going to go with DXY either way. So if DXY wants to continue the bearish pressure from this area here, that's what we may see. So we'll see that on the lower time frames, if that's going to continue from this area to go up towards this previous daily high. I don't think, because this high is still intact, of course, it's not a definite. We may or may not continue bullish from here and take out this high, but there are some early signs, at least internally, that there is, right? So the 4 hour, I would say, isn't settled yet. Right now, we're just still in the premium. We've had this bullish run, and it's a bit of a mixed picture on the direction. So let's go down to the 1 hour, and we might get a bit clearer direction on where to have our bias for today. Now on the hourly, you can see that new bullish leg a lot more clearly. You can see we've closed above these previous highs here. Obviously, we'd have taken buy side liquidity with that, which is probably sponsoring this pullback here, right? We have a 1 hour POI below, which would be a good place, I would say, because it's a discount of this new leg. This, either the leg from here or from here, we're still in a discount with this 1 hour order block. However, obviously, we had already rejected that 4 hour fair value gap on DXY, and a small 1 hour fair value gap has also been swept. So we may not come into this order block just yet, but it's something to point out, and it'd be a good area to see if we could go long from, continuing our possible new 1 hour trend where we look to have built up some buy side liquidity trend line. Of course, things to note, we still have our discount 1 hour POI price draw, right, which is the 4 hour order block as well, right, just below the 4 hour fair value gap. We have the same, of course, above the 4 hour fair value gap on DXY, which may ultimately draw price in. That's just something to be aware of as a negative when we are considering trading long from this area or just at all today. We also have SMC divergence, right, where DXY failed to make a lower low down here while EU was making a higher high. So that may show some dollar strength. Now that could have just been temporarily for this pullback to the 4 hour and 1 hour fair value gaps and order blocks. And we also swept previous lows here, sell side liquidity. So that looks to have sponsored this pullback. Now, will this confluences result in us continuing more bullish, right? And bringing price ultimately down to this order block or this, we don't know yet, right? So we're relying on price action and the structure to show that. As you can see, we're having some sort of bullish reaction at this area, which is mostly probably being motivated by DXY coming into its POIs. But yeah, the biggest takeaway from this is now this possible new structure to consider on EU and DXY. You can see we've got lower high, lower low, right? Obviously we didn't break this low, but we've got lower low, possible lower high, possible higher low around this area as well with the higher high. And it may just have been that turning point from that 4-hour fair value gap for now. But at least for today, we could possibly have that bias by using these confluences that we could go long on EU, right? Even though I'd prefer it from this area, we may have a bias to go long from because DXY is reacting to this area and we've created new higher highs or lower lows in this case. So let's go down to the M15, see if there's any immediate opportunities available for today. So ignore this stuff over here. Obviously, this is just me keeping track of a trade yesterday, which I didn't get to enter due to spread. It rejected from this area, you can see, and went long. So it would have been a BE. However, spread didn't allow me into the trade anyway. So personally, I don't think we have much today on the M15 at this moment, or on a lower time frame in general. You can see we just had this really nice corrective pullback down to this area, to this discount of this new leg. What I would want to look for is, of course, I think it's nice we have this buy side liquidity available. We've obviously gone below Asia. Price has we're kind of in the middle of nowhere on EU. The order block that I would like to go long from is here. We haven't swept even this internal low here. We closed out just above it and made this corrective pullback, which doesn't have much momentum. We may sweep these highs internally here now and break down to come into this area. We'll see. So there is potential for some sort of internal shorts there. Those may look something like this, right? Price may come up to this area, break down whatever low that it created over here, pull back to a POI and continue down into this area. We may see something like this happen this morning, right? With the liquidity taken from here, price spikes up, takes that out, goes down and does that just as some sort of complicated pullback to get to this area. Obviously then we're expecting, you know, DXY to sweep these lows, come into this, maybe this 15-minute order block area and just turn around from here and go a bit more bullish up into this area. It doesn't look great for that, so I wouldn't say this is a fantastic opportunity. It's more of a half chance, more of a B grade or something trade, right? But it's definitely possible because there's still buy side liquidity being swept and you'd still be looking for that breakdown internally. Just DXY would need to hold this area also, and DXY does look bearish and has come into its high time frame POIs. So that's definitely some negatives there. What I would really want to see, of course we have news today to be aware of, right, in the NY session, so it's probably not looking so likely given the time. I'd want to see price come into this area, create structure, then break out. And we can continue with our possible new trend. This structure here would be confirming this area. I don't care to just enter off of this area because it's a 1 hour ob, obviously. We would want price action to shift structure and then we can continue, and it would give us a confluence to go and come for this buy side liquidity above here, and that we're continuing our new possible 1 hour trend, right? Like I said, we have our negatives. Price may want to come down to this area or come for some sell side liquidity below the previous daily lows. So of course, if we don't get this structure shift up here, it may sweep the lows and do it down here. We'd keep an eye out for that. So that's all the opportunities I see. I am favoring longs, at least temporarily for today, especially from this area if we get the move. Maybe some short-term shorts from up here around this area, like I said before. But yeah, overall, I think we need price to develop some more over this week, just so we're not in this area and we can see if there's a new trend to follow. So I hope you gained value from that. If there's anything you need me to explain further, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.